serology evidence, the blood evidence, which was very, very not very accurate in its substance, and hair evidence, which was totally junk science. So basically, the pressure was on the prosecution to solve this murder. And of course, you know, the Carter family, you know, they wanted the killer to be brought killers to be brought to justice. So basically that was the stimulus, you know, for achieving this conviction.
Okay. Now, who were you represented by at the trial?
I was represented by an attorney by the name of Greg Saunders.
And how did he come to represent you?
Well, he was court appointed, and he had came to the jail cell. I didn't realize that Greg's specialty, well, I did become familiar when he first approached me that he was a civil bankruptcy attorney, and for first-degree capital murder. And you know, I can say I might have been a little naive at that time, but I wasn't that naive to not realize that if you're going to first-degree murder trial, you don't want a bankruptcy attorney. But Greg did assure me that there was no way on God's green earth that I would ever be convicted. But Greg was wrong, actually.
Okay. Now, when did the exoneration take place, Dennis?
I was released on April 15th, 1999.
Okay, so you spent how many years in prison?
Actually, I spent a total time from first day of when I was charged 12 years, a little over 12 years.
Okay. During those 12 years, did you envision the day that you might be exonerated?
Quite often. I just, you know, I realized that since I had not been convicted of the death penalty as my co-defendant had, there was no available death row or death counsels, death row attorneys to represent me. So I knew I was on my own, and I knew I was going to have to learn how, I was going to have to learn the law and learn how to write my briefs and do everything. So I lived, walked, talked, breathed, slept, dreamed about being a free man, and which meant that I was going to have to do it, and throughout the law library. So that's what I did.
Now, but did you eventually get the assistance of counsel to pursue the exoneration? And if so, how did that come about?
Well, of course, I was represented, you know, at direct appeal, and after I had heard, you know, the very famous Barry Scheck and Johnny Cochran, you know, in the famous O.J. trial. And I used to have daydreams of seeing Barry Scheck in the courtroom with my prosecutor and waving the magic wand, how he does, but you know, those